Hello, world. Courtney Richardson, better known as Big Court, host of the Holdin Podcast, joined Enterrupt KC for this great conversation. We discuss Big Court's early success in signing to No Limit Records in the 90s. We talk about how success and survivor's remorse has impacted him, to growing up with an absentee father, and how families deal with generational curses. We also discuss his acting career and his vision for Holdin Podcast with the OG Network, tag teaming with Ice-T to take his platform to another level. Shout out Will Harris and Classic Blend Cigar and Coffee Lounge for hosting us, and shout out our brother Big Court for this great convo. This is Enterrupt KC. Enjoy this episode.
Welcome back to Enterrupt KC, the Kansas City podcast, where we dedicate ourselves to people, places, and things right here in Kansas City. It's my boy JL. I'm your man D-Rod.
Let's go, D-Rod. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm doing great, man. We got a... Man, I'm just kind of excited about today, but what's been going on, man?
Yeah, I am too, man. Man, a whole lot, man. I was saying to you earlier, man, like, our guests don't know this, but I got here. I forgot my damn backpack with my laptop and important stuff in it. So I had to run back all the way back home into Kansas.
Man.
And driving through the city right now is insane, bro. Like, it's insane. There is not a good place to drive through the city.
I mean,
if you're in a hurry.
If it's not the traffic, it's all the construction, right?
Man, it's stupid. It's stupid. But as always, D-Rob, we want to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you to the subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. We know you see it right there. Click. And, man, shout out to everybody who catches us on Spotify, Apple, all the, non-video platforms, man, because I checked in on that, man. It's been a while since I checked in on that, like a long time.
Yeah.
And
what's it looking like?
It's looking good. It's looking real good, to be honest with you, man. Real good, man. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you to everybody who taps in, man. I really appreciate y'all following and sharing everything, sharing the content, liking the content, everything like that.
Yeah, man.
So with that, D-Rod, man, I think we need to interrupt our guest.
Let's do it, man. We got this gentleman here, man. It came a long way.
Yes, sir. And by interrupt, D-Rod, you already know we mean introduce our guest. None other than D-Rod, the one, the only Big Court, man.
Court,
what
man.
What is up, bro?
What's going on, man?
What's up, fellas? What's going on with you?
Man, we living, bro. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm blessed, highly favored, man. I'm back home in the hometown on the soil.
Let's go.
Came here for a couple of days from the West Coast. So, yeah.
And you just came from New Orleans, man.
Just came from New Orleans last night down there with my brother Master P. You know, his farewell show at the Essence Festival. So we had to get out there and represent.
Saw the video, man.
Yeah.
You was on stage, man. You was rocking that New Orleans No Limit chain, bro.
Yeah, 30 years, man.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's
That's
insane,
dope,
man.
That's dope. How was that? How was that turnout, man?
It was good. Of course, the media, it was some things going on with the Essence Fest in terms of turnout and, some little, snafus with production.
Yeah.
And, of course, my camp had some stuff going on in the media.
Yeah.
But it worked out, though. It was good from my vantage point.
Yeah. I feel that, man. I feel that. Well, listen, man, welcome back to KC, bro. Welcome back home, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's going to be people who see this, man, and they're going to know exactly who you are, man.
I hope so.
They're going to know, like,
Man, listen, I done put in a lot of work, man. I've been in this game for 30-plus years.
Yeah, well, that's what you just said, 30 years with Master P, right?
It's insane, man. Time flies, right?
It does.
Time flies.
Listen, my thing started in 89. So
89, bro.
Yeah.
I remember the Court Dog CD with you with the blue, right? You was like you had long hair.
Yeah. The Kansas City Chief album.
Yeah. The Kansas City Chief album, man. I remember that. Yeah. I remember being at Seventh Heaven, bro. And seeing it, and I was like, "Who this Court Dog?" And back then they used to let you sample CDs, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, and you had that flow, man. You still got that flow?
No.
Come on, man.
No, it left a long time ago.
Left a long time ago. Really?
I can't even talk that fast no more.
For real?
Yeah, my daughter and my wife, they like to play my old stuff and be like, try to keep up, try to rap along with it. My mouth don't move that quick no more.
Did you forget some of them lyrics
Oh, absolutely.
too?
Absolutely.
Oh,
some of the stuff that I did and said back then, I can't even believe I said it.
For real?
I'm older
brother,
now.
That's everybody, man.
It's growth,
That's
man.
everybody.
It's growth, Court. It's growth, man.
Yeah, and I listened to it and some shit, I just cringed like,
Like, what the fuck was I thinking?
can't believe I said that. Why y'all let me say that shit?
Right.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the real question.
Yeah.
Was you making it up?
In terms of
Just with the delivery, the content of what you were saying.
That's a funny story. Some of it.
Yeah.
Some of it I can remember because I was out there. Some stuff that I would say, I would listen to and be like, nah, that's too close to the truth.
Yeah.
So I would, let me change that.
Yeah. Let me tone it
feel
down
that.
a little bit.
I wasn't like now,
Yeah.
Back then, I'm Gen X, so we come from, if you're going to do something, the goal is to get away,
Yes.
So
I feel that, man. I feel that in every way, man. Well, listen, man, there's so much, man, we feel like we want to get into. I mean, there's some certain topics that D-Rod and I talked about, like, man, we think we should touch on this with Corey, man, this or that. Hopefully, somewhat different conversations you've been in a little bit, man.
Let's go.
But let's start with this, man. For a little while, let's talk about your journey, man. So you born and raised in Kansas City, man. Where are you from exactly?
Kansas City, Missouri. I'm from the 4 block, 42nd and Chestnut, 64130.
Oh, shit.
So I grew up. I'm second generation over there.
Okay.
My mother and my aunt, my family owned the house on that block since the 50s.
Okay.
And they're still there.
Wow.
So yeah,
So you grew up there. Where'd you go to high school?
Northeast.
Man, back to back Northeast,
Everybody's
man.
from Northeast,
Our
man.
dude, Hood Do Food Reviews, Glenn
Okay.
Robinson.
Oh yeah, shout out to Glenn. That's the homie.
Glenn, the homie,
Yeah.
man. He was like, man, I went to Northeast, man.
Northeast
I was like,
Vikings
so,
for life.
Vikings,
Vikings
bro.
for
Yeah,
life.
that's what's
Yeah.
up,
Hey,
man.
listen, man. I had some of the best times of my life at Northeast.
Yeah.
Skipping, going down on Independence Avenue, going to McDonald's, going over to Bud Park, playing basketball, playing
Bud
dice.
Park, bro.
Northeast.
Hey, you ever head up over there now?
Huh?
You ever go up over that way now?
I haven't been in years.
Yeah.
I ain't been that way in years.
Yeah. Yeah, Northeast.
I was
man.
like, man. So we've talked to Court. We talked to a bunch of Northeast people. By
Yeah.
now. Paseo, Northeast, man. They put out, man.
Yeah.
They put out, man. Some legendary people in the city.
Yeah.
So, man, the rapping though, man. We got to get to that real quick.
Yeah.
So,
4
what was
blocks,
you doing?
man.
Was you at lunchroom? Doing the freestyle
you know
thing?
What
was you doing?
Yeah, I kind of did that a little bit. I wasn't a big freestyler.
Yeah.
The music came because as a kid, I was an only child. So I was a precocious, creative only child.
Gotcha.
And so I used to write my mom poems. And so I think it's a natural transition to get into some type of written expression. And then when hip hop came, the first gangster rap record I ever heard was Ice-T, Squeeze the Trigger.
Hey.
And so I was sprung after that. So as NWA and
Was that the cassette or?
Yeah, that was Rhyme Pays. Yep, Rhyme Pays.
Okay.
And then so as NWA, Eazy-E, the popularity of that started exploding.
For sure.
I just started kind of writing raps, but I used to mimic Eazy-E. I was basically jacking his cadence.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I say probably around 90, 91, because I actually went to Lincoln High my freshman year. So I used to go to L.A. sometime in the summers. I had a
Okay.
cousin and an aunt that lived in Inglewood.
So you was
Yeah.
going back and forth.
Yeah.
Got you.
And so I came back because I went to Nowlin Middle. And so when I came back, they were like, "You're going to Lincoln." I had never heard of Lincoln.
Yeah.
I
The
didn't
prep
know-
school?
The prep,
Yeah.
Lincoln Prep.
Yeah.
But I used to score really high on those standardized tests.
Sure.
So they placed me over there. So I missed the first day of school, So when my friends got home, I'm calling everybody like, "Where you going? Where you going?" They going to Northeast, East.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'm going to Lincoln. Anybody ever heard of Lincoln?"
What the hell Lincoln at?
So I'm
It's
the
up
only
on the hill,
I'm the
man.
only one in the hood that went to Lincoln.
Yeah.
Right. So I met my rap partner at Lincoln.
Okay.
And so we started rapping in class and all that, and I quickly got kicked out of Lincoln on purpose
Hey.
because everybody else was going there to learn, and I wasn't on that kind of time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it started with me and Cisco, and we formed the group CCG, which actually was
CCG.
like It was kind of like Wu-Tang in the beginning. It was about 15 of us.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, and it whittled down to just him and I.
What happened with everybody?
You know, just like if you remember the Temptation story.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
everybody don't have the
You got
drive.
one knucklehead.
Yeah,
you got one
yeah.
party on chasing other girls.
Exactly.
Man.
You know,
Yeah.
and then you got son that was just doing it for fun, but
Right.
it came down to me and him really just having the dream and wanting to put the work in.
Right.
And, you know, Cisco, you know, I always have to give him credit because he was so advanced in terms of a producer or songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
I was more the visionary, the business guy. I was the mouthpiece of the group. And he would do all the beats. He would mix everything, and I would just write my verse, you know, and then I get out and campaign.
Right.
But Cisco, you know, he stole all the equipment. We teenagers, we ain't had no money, so he finessed, you know, for mixers, drum machines, keyboards.
Like, hey, look what I got.
Hey,
Look
listen,
what I got.
shout out to the homeboy Lavander. Cisco got him for a keyboard when we was at high school, and he got on Facebook about a year ago and was like, you know what, I'm proud of you. I like to think I contributed something.
Yeah.
I still ain't got my keyboard back.
Man, can we get that back,
Yeah.
man?
So the homeboy Cisco's still around.
Oh yeah. Cisco's doing well, man. He's in New Mexico with his family, so he actually moved out of KC before I moved to LA. I think he left in maybe 2000 or 99, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What up, man? You know, your style of rap, man. You
Yeah.
was like one of the original Midwest choppers, man.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
for real.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a fact.
Where'd you get that from, man? What was your influence?
So funny.
because that wasn't common, man.
It wasn't.
Was
No,
not
wasn't.
common.
Not there.
So let me tell you how mine came. It was a funny story, and Cisco can tell you this, people that was around. The problem was my rhythm, my internal metronome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would get off beat when I tried to rap slow. I would get off beat. For whatever reason, it was easier for me to put a bunch of words to stay on beat.
Mm-hmm.
I was struggling just to stay on beat.
Yeah.
So it was just easier for me that way.
feel
And
that.
so it developed into that. It started just by staying on beat.
Yeah.
But then, of course, when it got popular and I heard people like Bone Thugs and Harmony, who are my brothers, shout out to them, Do or Die, Twister, then I started understanding these different staccatos and different pockets, and you know, so they did influence me heavily.
Yeah,
so
how it all goes together.
yeah, but that's
Right.
how it started, by me just trying to stay on beat.
Man, I have to say, 4 Block, man.
Yeah.
That man, I can't get past that one, man. I listen to 4 Block.
Which one?
That's what it's called,
The
right?
song?
Yeah, the song.
Oh yeah. I did the Pink Panther joint.
Oh,
Yeah. We redid that beat. That beat
that
is from
beat.
Pink Panther.
Yeah.
S to the B produced that.
Oh yeah, it's to the B.
Yeah. That's my
shout out
partner.
S to the B,
Yeah.
man.
Damn, that's dope.
Damn, that's some memories right there, man. So, man, you somehow, some way, man, you ended up with No Limit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some transition in there, I'm sure, right? But how did that happen, bro? How did you get from here in Kansas City
Yeah.
to Master P, man?
So you got to think, bro. I'm 17. I graduate 1994. 17. So just like how we were talking off camera before,
Right.
I started realizing that as far back as then.
Wow.
You know, and I was like, damn, I don't want to get stuck here, just kind of pandering. I just felt like, because I the only person at that time that I saw that really made moves was Vel Bacardi. Shout out to Vel Bacardi. You know, he had signed with Rick Rubin and Def America. So that gave me hope. When seeing him on Yo MTV Raps was so inspirational.
Yeah.
It was like, damn, we can do it. Because that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't want just my shit at Seventh Heaven and Music Land and in liquor stores. Don't get me wrong. I understand that, but I didn't want that.
Right.
So what I did was I was like, okay, I was always really forward thinking. You know what I mean? I was good at getting in contact with people.
Trying to think about the next step.
Yeah, and so back then we had CDs and cassettes. So
Right.
I would look on there and I would see the addresses and the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
So I just started mailing out packages. Now, mind you, I'm 17, 18.
Right.
I haven't been taught what a press kit is.
Okay.
But my common sense just kind of led me to believe I said, okay, they need to know who we are. So I hand wrote bios.
Oh, shit.
Literally hand wrote them. And then I was like, okay, they need to know what we look like. So we went, 1 hour photo, took our B-boy stands
Hey.
pictures, put them in there, and then put the demos in there. And so I would mail out to all to the majors.
Yeah.
But what would happen is they would send them back, stamped, unopened, saying that we don't accept unsolicited material. I didn't know what that meant. So I kind of was like, all right, damn, maybe I need to go after smaller labels.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started going after like Rap-A-Lot, Dog Day Records, Intermittent Records. This is up in the Bay back in the day. Black Market, different record labels like that. And so at that time, Dank Nitty, he's a local rapper, producer. He was kind of rapping with us as well.
Okay.
He sounded like Master P. I had never heard of Master P, but people would hear our stuff and be like, that dude sound like Master P. And I was like, who is Master P?
Yeah.
So I got up on Master P around 99 Ways to Die. This was right before Ice Cream Man.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, he got a label.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me send him one.
Yeah.
And he had a phone number. So what I would do is I would call the phone number and fill up the voicemail on purpose so no one else could leave messages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I sent him about 10 tapes, you know.
Yeah.
And finally, I learned the story afterwards. He got so tired of me calling. He was like, this dude got to be serious. He got to be something.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah.
And so he had Servone, Mr. Servone, go
Yeah.
get the tape. They listened to it. And at that time, Bone Thugs and Harmony had just blew up. So, you know, P, he understands the art of duplication.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's like, shit, I'm going to make them my version of Bone Thugs.
Right.
So I remember I was fresh off of house arrest, and he called me. He called the house and was like, man, you know, hey, I'm doing Down South Hustlers. I like what y'all doing. Man, y'all want to come out. And at this time, he was still in the Bay Area.
Okay.
So, yeah. And all of that came just because I didn't want to be stuck with the local thing.
Right,
you know,
right,
and back
right.
then it was very different. You had to get put on, you know, because you had.
There's no social media.
There was no social media,
nothing like
and
that.
the independent game was just starting to
Yeah.
kind of brew. But you know,
Well,
back-
his label too, right? I mean, shit, it was growing. When he called you, bro, was you like, man, quit playing with me like this?
Absolutely. So true story. Full transparency. I was at my father's house because I went to jail. The state had took me from my mom, made me live with my dad. So I was fresh off of trying to get my life and shit together. And so my dad's name is Courtney too.
Okay.
And so when he called the house, he asked, this part I don't want to leave out. Not too TMI, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
I was on the stool. I was sitting on the stool,
Yeah.
and the phone rang, and for whatever reason, I got up and waddled because I had sent out so many tapes and gave the number, so I'm always running to the phone hoping it's a record label.
Right.
So I'd have I get up, pants on my ankles, I waddle to the phone.
That's hilarious.
And so I answer the phone, and he's like, "Can I speak to Courtney?" And I'm like, "He ain't here," because I didn't recognize the voice. I was like, "He ain't here." And he was like, "All right." I was like, "Who calling?" He was like, "Yeah, tell him P called." So then I was like, P. I was like, P who? He said, Master P. I was like, nah. I said, this him, this me. So he started laughing. He said, man, what, you on the run? You dodging somebody or something?
Kind of.
You know? And I was like, nah. I was like, you know, my dad's name Courtney. I was like, nah, for real? He was like, yeah, man. He was like, hey, I got your tape. And so he started going into, I'm doing Down South Hustlers. I got 8-Ball, MJG.
Man.
I got all of this. And, you know, them guys was huge.
Huge.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was like, man, y'all want to get down? I said, hell yeah. And he was like, and because I know P for so long now, he was filling out just kind of who was attached to us, where our head was.
Right.
And it took about maybe a month and a half. But the weird thing about it was people didn't believe it. P used to call me all the time.
Wow.
So, like, by the time we met each other, it was like we were old friends. He would just call me and we would talk for hours.
No shit.
Yeah, but me knowing him, once I got to know him, he was seeing where my head was and just kind of what was up with me.
Well, that makes sense, man, because that's his business. Man.
Yeah.
He's trying to see if you right-minded about
Exactly.
I mean, P was ahead of his time too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, just like you was already thinking about that early on, man.
Absolutely.
P was already thinking about stuff differently, right?
And that's why I always say your vibe attracts your tribe. It's no accident that me and P, you know, have cultivated a brotherhood and we've been friends for so long.
Yeah.
Because we're a lot alike. You know what I mean? We have the same sensibilities. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. He thought big. He thought bigger than New Orleans. He thought bigger than the Bay. Yeah. I thought big. We just think big. You know? So we just kind of clicked there.
So with P, was that your first get
that
breakthrough
was
and how you got?
Hell yeah,
man.
We literally went from recording in the bedroom with the mic hanging up from the light.
Yeah.
And we would get in the studio sometime, you know, some little studio, because studio time was super expensive back then.
Right.
You know, that was
so
it.
You didn't get to, I mean, fortunately, man, you didn't get any type of riff-raff fuckers, music people trying to screw you over. None of that.
No.
You got with P and it was just straight on. Right?
Yeah. And now the full story of that, you know, I was just telling somebody that the other day. I was like, man, listen, it's a few of us from Kansas City that have made some moves, but because there was no industry in Kansas City and because it was no information to a degree, some of us, if we just want to be 100, we kind of fumbled a little bit, you know, because like for instance, like Mass 187, a lot of people don't talk about them, but they went south. They got with Lil Troy back in the day. Okay. You know, I'm not sure what happened, you know, but it didn't, you know, I don't think it came. It didn't take off, right? But they had the opportunity. Yeah. We had the opportunity. It kind of fumbled a little bit. Yeah. If you look at other artists, you know, Tech had his setbacks with perspective and, you know, different things. Right. But we just didn't have the information. Yeah. We didn't have anyone, like in Houston, they had Rap a Lot. Right. In LA, they had so many. Right. You know, at least in Miami, they had Luke. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, and I ask that because, you know, we all know, man. We all know about the grimy, man, in the industry. And
I didn't have to go through that.
Yeah, but that's good, man.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you why. Because, so we recorded a whole album with No Limit called 100% Game. If you look on the inside of Down South Hustlers, you'll see our album cover in there. You know? And for the record, we are the first rappers from Kansas City to bring home a gold record with Down South Hustlers. That's on the books, right?
That's dope.
So we recorded an album with No Limit. Well, like I mentioned to you before, me and P, we talked all the time. Right. Mm-hmm. So when we meet, it's like we're best of friends. My homeboy never talked to him. So they were meeting like strangers. Right. They didn't click. They were like oil and water. Right. Yeah. P didn't like my homeboy didn't like P out the gate. Yeah. Out the gate. And so P used to tell me, he used to be like, man, that little red nigga gonna get you killed. Like, he gonna get you killed. You know, and my partner just like, man, I don't like dude. Like, that's your friend. You know what I mean? For real. Dog, to this day, I don't know what that was about. Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. So at the time, we had a manager. He was a little older than us. Because at this time, we're probably about 17, 18. Okay. Our manager was probably in his late 20s, early 30s. He was from Jersey. He didn't really know a lot, but he knew more than us. Right. Right? So the problem came in is because the manager, he wanted to do music business. He wasn't necessarily wrong because he's trying to advocate for us as a manager, as he should be doing. But see, he didn't know how to navigate that part of it because this was before Ice Cream Man. Right. So he doesn't realize that this dude is independent and he's still hustling. Right. You know what I mean? He's still trying to get to that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But he's playing like he's dealing with a major. So he's hitting P like, yeah, man, what about Advance? What about this? What about that? And P kind of like, well, hold on. Like, bruh, like, basically, you niggas ain't nobody. I just like y'all. And I'm trying to give you a chance, a shot. Yeah. I saw it like that. I understood that. And then the other dynamic is where me and P clicked. The manager and my partner, they clicked.
Got you.
So you see these dynamics, right? Yeah. So he's kind of rolling with the manager. Working, I'm kind of rolling with P, but then it's me and him. Yeah. You know, so, you know, there was a time where P came and got me. We were out in the Bay Area, and we all were in the apartment. Me, Mia X, Mr. Servon, Beats by the Pound. Yeah. We were all holed up in the apartment. And I remember P was like, hey, Court, come holler at me. Come roll with me. And he basically was like, you know, I fuck with you. Yeah. You know, you want to do this solo thing? I ain't fucking with your boy. And I'm like, nah, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I have
It's such a story, man. You see all the time, right?
Yeah,
in groups of people. There's always that one person.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say my part. I'm not going to throw my guy under the bus and say he was wrong.
Yeah.
I think that we just I don't know. I saw it as an opportunity.
For sure.
I remember us being in a hotel up there,
sure.
and I said this. I said, you know what, bro? I said, let's just do it, because it's not like we have a bidding war. It's not like, we can say, well, damn, P, I mean, Jive is saying this. Can you match it? Let's just do it. You know what I mean? And let's make ourselves viable. Let's get in the marketplace. I knew this at that age. And so anyway, we end up coming back to Kansas City. I didn't want to do the solo thing because I come from gang culture, and then I'm a loyal dude, right? So I don't care, Yes, I wanted to do it, but nah, we came together. We gonna lead together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I kept the relationship with P. So what happened is we started putting out independent records, and this is how I start making a lot of money because with the influence of P, he used to make Southwest and Selecto pay me up front for the CDs that I shipped. Okay. So if I got 10,000, 20,000 pieces, they paid me up front for them at $7 a piece.
Okay.
So I started making a lot of money.
Yeah, because he was, P was dealing at that point.
Yeah, and this was all me. This was all my label. Right. Now, this is 19, 20 years old.
Right.
So, so my musical relationship with the city is a little different because, like I said, you have some that concentrated on the city. I did not. I had distribution. I never put out a local album. Okay. So my records came in just like everybody else's back then through the distributors and one stops. Right. You know what I mean?
That had to been a great feeling at that time, man.
It was, but I was kind of off in my own lane doing that though, because with that, you got to understand, it's almost like a shotgun. You know what I mean? It's like I had a sawed off with triple I buck trying to hit a target spread out, so it wasn't necessarily as effective as someone point blank. But being a local thing, you know what I mean? So where I got pieces everywhere, I'm getting sound scan every Tuesday. Yeah. And so I used to look forward to that because I'm like, oh damn, I sold 50 pieces in Houston. Damn, I sold another 25 in Colorado. Damn, I sold 90 in New York. And I felt like I'm getting us out there, I'm putting us on, opposed to just, oh shit, the liquor store, they sold out the 50.
Right.
Now, what I would say is learning, as time went on. It was a very arduous task. It was commendable to think like that, but the truth be told is I didn't have the infrastructure to support that. I didn't have the marketing know-how to be you see what I'm saying? Even though I did well, but so I didn't concentrate on Kansas City. So I really didn't put any effort into Kansas City. I was too busy trying to get us to the world. I'm like, shit, I see y'all every day. I'm trying to do that with them. I made a lot of money. And
so what would you? I mean, how did you transition, man? I mean, because at some point, right, you decided, man, I ain't doing the rapping no more, man. Yeah. What did that look like for you, man? Do you remember that moment in time?
I absolutely do.
Talk through that, man. What did that look like for you?
So,
because I think a lot of people, man, they get to that point, right? Yeah. They trying to decide for themselves, like, man,
how
do I
old
keep
were you
going?
with that?
Yeah. So you got to remember, I wrote my first rap in 89, 13. So you figure all through the 90s, I get with P in 95. I put out some independent records up until Kansas City Chief comes out 2001. I'm about 20, maybe 25, 24, 25, something like that. And then then I moved to LA, right? So I moved to LA in like 03.
Okay.
So I was starting to see success in other arenas. I had built a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio. Okay. I moved to LA. I started producing movies.
You diversified.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started producing movies. The first movie I produced was with me, Cat Williams, and Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. Okay. So I spent like $250,000 of my own money to produce that. So I was going to do an album right? Once I got to LA, I kind of got the bug but then I turned it into the soundtrack for the movie because creatively I was on fumes. That's when I knew I was forcing it. I was like, I just don't have this anymore. Gotcha. And then I'm moving in different circles. And then the landscape of music is changing. When I saw Laffy Taffy and you know, these different type of records coming in.
White Sea.
I was like, okay, I don't know that I'm going to be able to, you know, mesh with that. And again, like I said, I'm seeing success in other areas. And then I'm growing. I'm moving in different circles. I'm seeing more. So I say about 28 is when I called it quits.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the Still Here album, which was the movie soundtrack. Yeah.
What was the last song you wrote, man?
For myself?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I kind of played around probably about 5 or 6 years ago.
Did you?
You know, yeah, that was a song actually I did with P. Yeah, me and P did a song.
A rap song? Okay.
What's it called?
It's not going to come out?
Let's find it, man.
It's called, no, I had it out on the DSPs and then I pulled it down.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a double album. Yeah, yeah.
Why'd you pull it down, man?
You know what? I put it, why did I pull? I had a plan. I pulled it down because I was going to do something else with it and re-release it. I just never went back to it.
It's time, man.
Yeah.
It's time to do it.
Yeah, when we get done, I'll let y'all hear some of it. I still got it on my phone.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So, man, we got to get to this podcast, man.
Yeah.
Because you have, I mean, just, you talked about, you know, you always stop more broadly than Kansas City.
Yes.
And we had a lot of great off-camera conversation, I'll say, beforehand. But, I mean, when did you see this as an outlet for you? You know, because you're an artist, man. And I have to tell you, man, like, I saw your episode, the whole episode was Zero.
Okay,
and dude, Zero is one of my favorite all-time rappers,
dope.
man.
Zero's dope.
Man. Shout out Zero, man.
Yeah, shout out Zero.
That to me, man, the way you took him through that conversation, bro. And I even read the comments and I was like, yes, you know, just it's art, man.
Yes.
It's your artistry, bro.
Yes.
I mean, for real, man. So talk about that early days of the podcast, man. Why did you want to get into that?
Okay, I'm gonna try to condense it because I can get long-winded because I've done a lot. I've done a lot.
Yeah, you know, what made you launch that, or you know?
So I'm gonna tell you, right? So remember, I went to Northeast, right? So my senior English teacher, his name was Mr. Connor. I believe he's passed on now, right?
Okay.
My senior year, I was barely graduating, right? Because
Me too.
You know, I went to jail my sophomore year. Then I was skipping. I told you I'm at Bud Park, and I'm just full of shit the whole time. So my counselor calls me down and says, "Hey, check this out, Playboy. You supposed to have this many credits. You got this many. It ain't looking good for you." I knew I couldn't have that happen because I didn't want to hear my mama mouth. Right. So with that being said, and I graduated, for the record, I did graduate, but I had a full schedule. I had to do correspondence classes, night classes, everything. To walk with my class.
Summer classes.
I had to walk with my class.
Yeah.
So Mr. Connor had senior English. So I had to get up, I had to write a paper, and I had to get up and read the paper. So I get up, I do it. Now, mind you, I got a high top fade. I got on some blue khakis, Cortezes, you know, gang attire. I look like I'm straight out of South Central, right? Regular Crip garb, right? So I read the paper, and he says, Richardson, my last name, he says, "Wow, you speak very eloquently." He said, "You have a voice for public speaking. You should consider that." And I felt disrespected. I felt like he disrespected my gangster. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm not smart like that. My head is not right. I'm young. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. Right. But I always excelled academically. But I'm dumb. I want to be dumb. Right.
Not knowing he gave you the ultimate compliment.
Man. So that was 1994.
Right.
He said that, and I thought he was crazy. Fast forward to about 2017. Master P had a show on Playboy Radio called "Doing the Most."
Okay,
and it was you remember it?
I remember that.
Okay, so P tells me, "Court, come do this show with me." I don't have no reference point in none of that, so I show up. We do about 20 episodes, and we just have fun. So one of the executives, shout out to Tao, I still work with her. She pulls me to the side. She says, "Hey, Court," she's like, "You know, you're kind of good at this." So I'm like, "Good at this? Like, we ain't doing nothing but talking." right? And so she says, would you like your own show at Dash Radio? So I go over to Dash Radio, which is in Hollywood on Cahuenga. At that time, Crazy Bone had a show over there, Quick Fix, Snoop had a show over there, a few other people, Damon Dash had a show over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these are radio shows.
These are kind of like radio shows, like internet radio. Yeah. And so kind of before podcasting became a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was about 2017. So I did that for about maybe 3 months. I didn't understand how to monetize it and make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I stepped away from it.
Okay.
So now fast forward during the quarantine. I'm sitting up. We shut down. I didn't watch everything on fucking, Netflix and all that.
Right.
So now I start watching YouTube. I'm watching podcasts. And so I kind of thought like, damn, I might have something to offer in this space. So my partner, producer Ken, who I told you had the studio in Burbank, me and him would casually get into these 2-hour long conversations about music from our era. We would just start talking about, man, Sebo. Remember when Sebo did this? Remember Mr. Doctor X-rated? Man, remember Spice One? We would just, So I said, man, let's do a show where we just talk about the 90s shit, the shit we grew up on, That's how the idea, the seed started.
Okay.
And so as I'm watching other podcasts, I'm watching Vlad, I'm watching No Jumper, I'm watching Gangster Chronicles, I'm watching different podcasts. And so I start seeing the guest thing. Mm-hmm. Well, I've been in LA 20-some years. I know a lot of people. I've built cultivated a lot of relationships.
Right.
So I was like, well, shit, maybe we can get some guests. I'll just reach out. They in my phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I did. And so that's how it started. And so, I reached out to Jay Prince. He was like, yeah, let's do it. I reached out to Silk P, just all low-hanging fruit. Michael John White, he's all friends of mine. And everybody came through. And that's how it started.
Okay.
So, but but then once I start understanding the power of it and just kind of what I wanted my messaging to be and how to separate myself.
Right.
And then, it comes natural for me, but I have a lot of influences. I didn't realize that I kind of had a passion for it even early on. So I used to love watching Arsenio. I used to love watching Barbara Walters. I used to love watching Larry King. So, not understanding that I'm inspired and influenced by these people in different ways. So it came natural. And the thing about it is, when I have my childhood friends that know me almost 50 years, and when they tell me, bro, you've done a lot, but that's you. That's you. You found your spot right there.
With this podcast.
With the podcasting,
So, all right, so let's just go back a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Big Court, rapper.
Yeah.
Right? You started doing some acting.
Yep.
Started doing some producing. Now you're podcasting. You're doing these 4 things right here, brother. In what order are those like your go-to, like your passion? Of course, podcast is what it is, but you're doing everything, man.
Like he said, I just love to create, bro.
Yeah.
The real estate is that's a business, right? That's just kind of like my foundational business. I enjoy that. I enjoy that.
You deal with different people in that space.
Yeah, I enjoy playing the game. I enjoy playing the game of business.
Everything.
Yeah. But I love producing. I love the podcast. I think what I love about the podcasting is I love to hear people's journey. I love to peel back those layers.
Sure, man.
And one thing that I learned is, people don't always remember, how much money you had, what kind of car you had, but people remember how you made them feel. So,
man,
it's facts. Man.
Yeah. So when people come up to me and they say, man, I love how you represent the culture, or, man, you be saying some real shit, or this episode, man, helped me out. Like with the Baby Jade thing, the moment that we had, when I'm able to contribute something that's impactful and then give people their flowers. I like to bring on, because we kind of in a space in podcasting where, it's the Wild Wild West. There's no qualifiers. Anybody can say whatever. It's a lot of clown shit. And I understand there's room for all of it, but I wanted to bring balance. I wanted to, for one, as a culture, make us look good, and I wanted to humanize us. So I didn't just want to exploit our shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's pull the layers back. Let's
a lot of that going on.
No, I didn't want to do that, bro. I wanted to actually be the antithesis of that, So and it translates. This is why a lot of celebrities, a lot of the brands, they fuck with me. I'm not exploitive. You know,
I get that, man. I get that 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing, man, you know, like just for us, man, Enterrupt KC, like we always tell everybody, and honestly, Corey, man, we've had people tell us this. Like, man, y'all are so original, organic, man. Like, you guys are not about drama or controversy. Like, we don't get in debates here.
The compliments of I mean, you know, and this ain't about us, but I mean, it's on what you're saying, bro. I mean, we've had compliments like that too. There's been, you know, shout out Psych, man. And he like told us beforehand, he was like, man, I don't ever talk to nobody. I want to talk to y'all.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I think, man, you know, kind of what I appreciate you explaining the backstory of your journey with the podcast early on, because I think, man, it goes back to you said it earlier, man, I'm a Gen X, man.
Yeah.
You know, like we are too, right? So we come from, we're probably the last generation that will remember a time with no internet.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And this right here, this person-to-person conversation, man, this is how we grew up.
This is how we grew up. This is all we had.
This is how you got to know somebody.
This is all we had.
You know,
Right.
I didn't get to pick and choose people based on, you know, their picture and you know whatever they describe themselves, you know, as a person or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the best thing, man, and just like you said, you know, when you can have a organic conversation with somebody, brother, and you get something out of them that they haven't ever shared or did something with somebody, those are memorable, man. For both of you, for us and for the guests.
That's a fact.
I mean, and that happens. It happens a lot. You know?
And two, you know, I wanted to bring, you know, kind of. Because I had an idea for a show years ago, the Unsung show that TV1 did. That was initially, you know, my idea. They ripped it from me. That's the truth, right? But, you know, I always wanted to, you know, like nowadays, you know, people have the theatrics and the controversy. People have social currency and internet fame just from bullshit. But, you know, I don't know. I'm not entertained by that. You know, I want to talk to someone who's actually really done something, you know. Now, it doesn't have to be always celebrity. You know, everybody has a story. Like I tell people all the time, look at Soft White Underbelly, one of my favorite platforms. They'll go get the bum, you know, I don't want to say that, the homeless guy off the street, or go get the drug addict or the prostitute. But the story is so compelling. It's real.
It's a real story behind it.
So it ain't always about fame, you know. But I just, I'm more about.
That's always somebody. It's somebody. It's your neighbor, man. It's
that's
somebody
right.
just right there. Somebody that you even know. But you don't know that they're going through that shit too.
That's a fact. And then, man, you know, sometimes through these conversations is discovery too. You know, like I said, even with the Baby Jade thing, you know, I hadn't cried about my mom in some years, right? I didn't know that. And I call myself trying to help her and console her, and it crept up on me. You know,
mid sentence, bro. You were like,
listen, I knew I should have pulled off. Something in me told me, pull off. You know what I mean? But I said, well, no, let me help her. And as I'm crashing emotionally, I'm sitting there thinking like, get it together. Your cameras is on. What are we doing? You know what I mean? But it was real. It was raw. You know, and so I didn't know that was a conversation that we needed to have, and how it touched so many people. I'm talking about some of my gangster partners was texting me, hit me like, bro, you got me over here fucked up. Like, dude, I'm at work. I had to go in the bathroom, you know, and so it was real. So like things like
I feel that, man.
That's where it's gratifying for me.
Because it's as therapeutic, right? It's as therapeutic for you as it is for the guest. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it may be even more therapeutic for us.
You know,
that's
to talk about it.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
And I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm a natural protector and kind of a leader too, bro. And so I really love the city. That's why everybody say, why you always throw up the foe? It's because I want people from my community, when they see me next to these people and they see me doing the things I'm doing, I want to show them that you can do it. It's all about how you think, you know. So this is kind of an instrument for me to try to inspire too. I want to inspire you. It's not going to fall in your lap. You're going to have to, it's going to be hard, you know, but I want to try to equip you with the tools, hopefully, because the tools are they're mental, you know. And that's that's how I can get it to the masses and do my part.
Yeah.
There was a moment, man, in that Baby J part right there, man, and I saw the short clip, man, which went crazy, right?
Yeah.
For you, man. Congrats on that.
Thank
but
you.
it was a moment in there, man, that I felt like I could relate to, particularly with my wife. But it was your daughter.
Yes.
What's your daughter's name?
Rachel Renee.
Rachel Renee.
Yeah.
Shout out Rachel Renee. Because y'all do the podcast together,
Yes.
right? That's dope as hell. I want to talk
thank
about
you.
that. But there's a moment in there where Baby J gets up
Yeah.
and Rachel Renee's like, whoa.
Yes.
Hold up. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
And I think she probably thought she was going to go hug you
Yes.
or something,
That's
console
exactly
you.
what it was. Yeah.
And she went to go get you a tissue.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, man, I'll tell you, of everything that happened there, that is the part I related to. Because, and I love for you to talk about this, man. Like, when I'm in my emotions, I feel like the last thing I need is a hug.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if that's you, man, but that's how I interpreted that moment right there.
Yes.
It was your daughter recognizing, hey, yo, my dad, he don't want to be consoled.
Right.
Let him go through that.
Right. It was that, and as she said, I don't want to crumble you. Because sometimes when you're in that, and then it can have an adverse effect when someone hugs you and that love is given to you, that comfort, then you'll break down even more.
Right.
So that's what she didn't want me to do,
Yeah.
because she's seen I was trying to hold it
Yeah,
together,
yeah.
you know. So she was like, if you hug him, I don't know if he's really just gonna lose it, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what that was. That
Gotcha.
And that's common, man.
yes.
You know, both of those.
I'm trying to think if I had to be honest. I think she did that because I had a moment with her like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, around the time that my mother passed away,
Yeah.
she was in high school. And if I recall, I have to ask her, but I think I'm right. I think I was talking about my mother or whatever, and she kind of sat on my lap and hugged me, and I think I broke down.
Oh,
so I think
gotcha.
she had a reference of
So
that.
she remembered that.
I think so.
Yeah. Man, whenever you having these conversations, man, and like we said, it's like therapy, man. And I don't know if you knew that going in, like, or you filled that out along the way. But the one thing that I pick up, man, in your conversations, Court, is that there's a lot of pain, man, that people have, and you may not know it. Because you may not know that guest coming in that well, right?
Right.
Now, some people you probably did, right?
Yes.
But that pain, man, that I feel like a lot of people who grew up the way we grew up, inner city, man, you know, in families that are semi-dysfunctional or completely dysfunctional, you know, poverty, you know, not in the best high schools. We just glad we made it to 18.
That's a
you
fact.
know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Things like that, man. You know, our friends got killed at young ages, you know, all that environment, man. And then here we are as adults.
Yes.
And we made it. But there's a certain amount of pain that we didn't really, I don't want to say deal with,
man.
but just manage.
Of course. You know, I think especially for me, when I first moved to LA, I suffered from survivor's remorse. You know, you start to feel like, you know, damn, like you start to feel guilty.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like, damn, especially when you have friends that died, you have friends that you see are struggling in different areas of life.
Yeah.
And you want everybody to come. You want everybody to go, but they can't.
Right.
You know, so sometimes it's hard to leave, family included. You know, I had to leave. I had to leave everything I knew in order to pursue my passion.
Right.
And you know, me and my family do what we have to do. So and coming from the hood, you're taught to suppress emotion, you know, because emotion equates to weakness for whatever
Especially
reason.
as a man.
Especially as a man.
Our generation, bro.
Our generation, absolutely. You know, so it's not healthy.
Right.
It's not healthy. You know, this is how we, you know, end up stroking out diabetes, high blood pressure, you know, and all kind of health things.
Yeah.
Stress kills. It's a silent killer.
Yeah.
You know, but I think just with maturity, man, you know, you live life long enough, it'll teach you how to live. And I think that, you know, because even like with that episode, listen, I'm 49, right? I was going to edit that out. You know, I wasn't comfortable letting that show.
Real?
Yeah, it was it was my team, you know, shout out to my daughter, my wife, you know, Damo, Darren, like all the people that helped, that were there, and my family. They were like, no, let that breathe.
Yeah.
Like, that was a real moment. You know, everybody looks at you as Superman and all of that. Like,
people need to see it.
People need to see it.
A shout out to them for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because it was up to me. Even afterwards, as soon as the cameras cut, I said, yeah, y'all know we cutting that shit out.
Yeah.
And they was like, nah, you know, we will if you tell us to, but man, reconsider. You know. So I had a couple weeks to kind of get okay. And I had angst too, you know. But again, it's that how we was raised. I'm like, damn, you know.
That's real
shit. But, you know.
No, I feel that, man. I mean, that's why I was just wanting to get that out of you a little bit, because you know, we, like I said, man, I grew up in KCK, man.
Okay.
The Dodge, shout out my homies in the Dodge 913. But you know, man, I lost friends at young ages, man. And I think sometimes, man, there's a misconception, man. People think, they make all these assumptions, right?
Yeah.
Man, you grew up with a mom and dad, man.
Yeah.
I only grew up with a mom, or I only grew up with a dad, or whatever. I'm like, man, you have no idea how I grew up.
Man, you know, listen, bro. I think sometimes people project. I don't know, man. It's our culture, you know. People project their shortcomings, you know, and their failures onto you, and they have to figure out some type of reason of, you know, why they're not where you are, you know, because I've had people try to do that with me. You know, people
even to this day,
people assume because I speak well or because of where I'm at now that somehow or another I had a silver spoon or a leg up. Right. No, I had a lot of people praying for me first and foremost. But, you know, because I wasn't that smart or that, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I went through the same thing. You know, my mom went through drugs. I'm an only child. My mom went through the crack epidemic. You know, I had to watch that. You know how hurtful that was? Man. You know, now she got it together, you know, before she passed, well before she passed. Right. But that was painful. The first person I saw killed was my friend Lewis at 13 years old on the 4 block at Oak Park. You know, my other homeboy accidentally shot him in the chest on the 4th of July. Oh, man. You know, I have a shoebox full of obituaries. You know what I mean? Yeah, and nobody died naturally, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3, and that was just in recent years. Right. You know, so my teenage years, I'm burying friends, you know, left and right, to the point to where I'm numb. Yeah. Death just kind of rolls off of me. Yeah. Wow. You know, so we suppress that. You know, that's not normal. No. You know, that's like a Vietnam vet, you know, a war veteran. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I've been shot at. You know, I've done things to people that I regret. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you know better, you do better. And so when you look back on that, you're like, wow, I can't believe I was that person. But you know, and the other part of that too, and I'll just add this, you know, just to contextualize it, you know, a lot of times coming from our environment, you know, I always tell people I was raised on love, you know, not survival. You know, I had a beautiful childhood. You know, I grew up, you know, middle class in the hood because I'm an only child, but you still have to go out to the environment and deal with the environment. So, you know, I grew up in the 80s, so y'all know what it was. Oh, yeah. You know, jungle, man, you got crack, you got gangs, you got all of that, right? So what happens is now when I'm seeing, you know, people getting jacked for Jordans, for their starter coat, getting shot, getting killed, niggas getting wet, killing, you know, all of these elements. Man. You become fearful. Yeah. If we're going to be 100, you become fearful because you don't want to be victimized. Yeah. So now what do? You say, well, shit, I don't want to be victimized. So you tool up to protect yourself. Yeah. So now it just takes to do something one time and get away with it. Rather you get in a fight, you shoot at somebody, nothing happens. But then you see the adulation that comes from your peers. So it gets good to you. So now you in essence start perpetuating that same element that you were fearful of, and you don't even realize it. You start becoming part of the problem now. You know, and that's what happens to a lot of us. And I know that was my story, because the decisions that I made as a young adult, you know, going to jail and doing those things, I wasn't taught those things. This is a reaction to the environment. You know what I mean? It's a learned behavior outside of my house. In my house, it was education. It was love. You know, when people talk about, you know, my vocabulary, that came from my grandmother. She used to make me read the encyclopedia and the dictionary and quiz me on the words. I couldn't speak grammatically incorrect in the house. You know, I couldn't say words like ain't and can't and stuff like that. No, my grandmother would say, darling, we do not speak like that, darling.
Your grandma talked like that?
My grandmother was Bougetto. She was like a ghetto Lena Horne, right? She used to have a cigarette in her hand, darling. We do not speak like that. You do not say ain't. Ain't is not a word.
Wow.
But then she cuss you out, though. She was real Bougetto. You know what I mean?
Man, you said one thing, encyclopedias, man. Don't nobody know nothing about those encyclopedias, man.
I'm showing my age with the encyclopedia.
We had a whole 3 shows encyclopedias.
It was
man.
the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah.
And that was the first Google.
Yeah,
that was Google,
bro.
the original Google.
Yeah.
That was the 2-3-inch books, man.
Yeah,
man.
A, that's just A.
From A through Z,
that's a fact.
man.
A was this thick.
Yeah, bro.
That's hilarious,
That's
man.
dope, man. That's facts, man. That's real, man.
You know, man, I really do appreciate you, Court, man, talking through that, man. Because,
for sure.
No doubt.
you know, that's you know, when I see your conversations and many others, man, I mean, just even the conversations we have, man, there's just a certain element of pain, man, that people are still learning to manage. Yeah. Still learning to get through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you said I grew up with love, not survival.
Yes.
So what would you say is would you say most people grow up in the survival mode? Yeah.
It's not lost on me that people didn't have the upbringing that I had and the support that I have. So that's not lost on me. I had a doting mother that instilled in me early that you could do whatever you wanted to do. So there was confidence instilled there. So it's not lost on me that some people didn't get that.
Right.
And they maybe had to learn that later in life. You know, I understand that.
Yeah.
And there's some that don't even learn it still.
That's a fact.
Bro,
that's
there's
a fact.
Some that never learn it.
And I don't know how I feel about that because at some point we can't blame mommy and daddy. Our whole life. At some point we're making choices.
There's some
I know
grown
people my age still blaming mom and dad.
That's a fact, man. That's a fact. So, but I think that. I was raised on love, bro. It's a difference because I had some peers, that where my mother was educated, my grandmother was educated, but I had some peers, man, they parents was selling dope and teaching them how to sell dope. They getting a different influence in the house and out the house. So I understand they're gonna have a different perspective than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So which is heartbreaking when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So you do this podcast, man. So what do you do? Weekly episodes? I mean, how can people find your podcast, man? It's YouTube, all platforms.
Oh, all platforms. YouTube, Holdin Court Podcast, Revolt TV. We did the deal with Revolt TV 2 years ago.
That's dope.
So I'm on all platforms.
When did you decide your daughter to be a part of it?
It's funny that I just pivoted because producer Ken, shout out to producer Ken.
Yeah.
Producer Ken will always be a part of the show. He just making that long money with the NBA.
Yeah.
So producer Ken got busy. Yeah. He got a big contract and was like, hey bro, I'll sit in when I can, but I'm gone. You know what I mean? I thought my daughter, because she has the gift of gab and she's super smart, you know, she's a female version of me. You know, I just felt like she could bring an element, speak for the women and speak for the millennials, and just bring a different perspective and balance, my, hardcore Gen X understanding. Masculinity. Yeah. And then it wasn't any, man, listen, I'm seeing a lot of these guys jacking a lot of shit that I'm doing. But, at the time we were, I'm not going to say the first, but one of the few daddy-daughter teams, so it just worked. And I grew up with my daughter. I had my daughter when I was 16, so she was young enough to remember. She used to go to the studio with me. I used to write my raps and then spit them for her and be like, what's that sound like to you? And she 5, 6, 7, 8 years old and be like, that's tight. So we grew up together.
For sure, man, for sure. Fatherhood, man. Let's talk about fatherhood. So how old were you when you became a father? 16. I was 17.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
I already know.
Okay,
bro.
You're right there with me.
And D-Rod, how many kids you got now, D-Rod?
Man,
7, 8, somewhere in there.
Wow.
Almost all daughters, but one son.
Oh wow.
But man, let's talk about fatherhood, man. I think this would be a great topic for us three. Who taught you how to be a father, man?
No one.
Okay.
Yeah. I learned trial and error. You know, I always tell people I always came off so stoic.
Yeah.
Like I had it figured out, but behind closed doors, I was learning how to be a man. You know, I didn't grow up with my father. You know, I've never seen a demonstration of what a husband and wife looks like, what a father looks like.
So you didn't even have nobody teach you how to be a husband?
No. The only reference that I had was my father-in-law.
Okay.
So, you know, I met my wife when I was 15. We had my daughter when I was 16. So her family kind of took me in, you know, early. So her dad was the closest thing to my father. He was my father.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was Nigerian. He was a Nigerian man, educated. You know, church going man, God fearing man.
Yeah.
You know,
They pretty stern too.
Yeah.
Boy, they stern as hell,
he
man.
didn't play.
Yeah,
yes,
man.
very much so.
Very.
Disciplinarian.
Yeah.
Yes, very strict and
Yeah.
stringent.
Oh, yeah.
But he was married. He had a wife. You know, he was the family man.
Right.
So that was my reference point of what that looked like.
Okay.
You know, even with the cultural kind of differences.
Yeah.
But that was my demonstration for that.
Okay.
So, but yeah, man, I learned.
Is he still around?
No, he passed away 4 years ago.
Okay.
You know, and that was like losing my dad.
Yeah, for
you know?
sure, for sure. man.
Which ironically, my biological father is 82. And even though he didn't raise me and we don't have that relationship like that, I still take care of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, you know, as the Bible says, you know,
Yeah.
you know, honor thy mother and thy father, though your days will be long.
Yeah.
So I just doing the right thing.
Hey,
And
man,
he-
shout out to you for that, man.
yeah,
For
and
real.
he's not a bad guy. He just, you know, he just didn't know how to be a father. And luckily enough, brother, I never had any bitterness. And people often like, well, dang, why? I think it's because, as I said, I didn't have a reference point of it. So you can't miss what you never had.
Right.
For me, I never missed it. And my mother did such a great job
Right.
because I was the only child. So
Right.
she did such a great job. I wasn't lacking in anything. But
Right.
the only time, I can be honest, the only time that it dawned on me that not having a father affected me was when I had my son. So when I had my son, I remember being a little confused on how to show him love. I didn't know if I was supposed to dap this dude or give him a high five, or because
Right.
I had never been shown love from a man like that.
Yeah.
And so I remember it being awkward for me to hug him and embrace him. But my father-in-law was like that, right? And me and him talked about
He
that one
wasn't
time.
a big hugger.
No, my father-in-law was.
Oh, he was.
yeah.
A hugger
yeah.
and a kisser and kiss you on the cheek
Okay,
and tell
okay.
you I love you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we talked about that years later, and he was like, I understand that. He said, because when I used to hug you, you would kind of tense up.
Yeah.
Because I
Didn't know
didn't
it.
know that,
Yeah.
right? But my son is 25. He graduated from UCLA.
Okay.
And I hug this dude all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I call my son baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I broke that, you know.
What's
Yeah.
your boy's name?
Courtney.
Courtney. Shout out little Courtney, man.
Yeah, Courtney the
Okay.
third.
The fourth.
The third.
Third.
I'm second.
Shout out to
Yeah.
third.
Okay. Man, yeah, you know, that all goes back to what we said before too, man. You know, about how the generation and how we're raised and kind of that macho machismo, man, the machismo, how we're all affectionate. I'm affectionate as hell, man. So
Yeah.
I got all girls, man. I got
Yeah.
one boy. All girls is a whole different thing,
Oh, man.
man.
I know they got you wrapped around.
Oh my
their
God,
finger,
they
bruh.
do. They did it when they were really young.
Yeah,
when they're
yeah.
really young. Now they still do. It's just
Yeah.
a different.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Man, you know what's crazy, man, and I love to hear your thoughts on this, Court, man. So, you know, one of the things that I talk to my sons about, I have two boys.
Okay.
10 years apart, because, you
Oh,
know,
wow.
first one was in high school,
Oh,
right?
right.
I'm in the hole, man, right away, man.
Yeah. I know.
Had
I
to
know
wait,
it.
man. Me and the
Same
wifey,
thing with
man.
me.
We had a whole way. Hang on, you know.
Same thing.
But, you know, one of the things that I talk to my boys about, man, is that, you know, I firmly believe, man, that every generation is passed down a demon.
Yes.
Maybe a couple demons.
Generational curses.
Right? Generational
Absolutely.
curses. That's what they're mostly referred to, man.
Yep.
And, you know, man, I didn't really start to understand that until I was well into my 30s, man. Fortunately, by then, I had dealt with my demons, right? At least one, real bad one.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't until my 30s and really I would say my faith journey that taught me what that really was. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I've had to have those conversations with my boys, man. And that's the conversation my dad never had with me.
Facts.
In fact, man, I can relate to the hugging thing because I remember one of the last times I hugged my dad, man. Actually, one of the first times. This is a true story. The first time my dad ever apologized to me, I was about 20 years old.
Wow.
Ever. And he called me into the basement of his house.
Okay.
And I thought this dude was about to whip my ass, man. For real. I was like, I'm about to go down there. He about to beat the shit out of me, you know. I go down there, and there's 2 rooms in the basement. And he calls me into this back room. And I'm like, yeah. And he's just standing there. And he's like, hey, come here. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, hey, I just want to say I'm sorry. And he's like, I want to give you a hug.
Wow.
Man, I hugged that dude. It felt like I was hugging a piece of plywood.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
That's how stiff he was.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I just, you know, those are things that, you know, maybe us as men have gotten more comfortable talking about and certainly talking to our children about. That our children, man, we just hope and pray they never have to deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know what? I can relate to that. So, my dad is 82. I'm 49. My dad, to this day, as we sitting here, has never told me he's loved me. He loves me. He's never told me I'm proud of you. Luckily, I don't need that, you know.
Yeah.
But what I can say, probably like your dad, they come from a different generation.
Different, man.
You know, that ain't their way.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
imagine
not
what their
it
dad
is.
did.
Well, it was a lot. It was a lot
Yeah.
rougher, a whole different relationship, and
Right.
it just, like you said, it just goes down, man.
So in that, what I tell like youngsters, I tell people how I dealt with that. I've always had a level of insight and wisdom, right? I've always been really introspective. I always looked at, I think the reason I never had the dad issue, is because I had the insight to understand that a lot of people just know mommy and daddy, but they don't get to know the people, right?
Yeah.
Those people, you don't know what they've been through.
Yeah.
You don't know why they are how they are.
Yeah. Right.
They have a story too.
Yeah.
You know, so this is why I tell youngsters, like, man, give your people a break. And listen, they may be dead ass wrong, right? But you know, there's a reason. You don't know what happened with them. So like with my dad, my grandfather, you know, from what I understand, you know, he was kind of abusive verbally. He was a raging alcoholic. You know, I don't want to throw him under the bus like that, but that's just what they say, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, my dad went to the Vietnam at like 16. You know what I mean? So he
went through some shit.
He went through
man.
some shit. So I was able enough to look at him as just a man. He's merely a man, flawed and all, you know, and say, hey, listen, he did the best he could.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And he can't give me what he doesn't have to give.
Yeah.
I understood that. And I just was able to meet him where he's at.
Yeah.
Even now, I have no resentment. I don't look for the I love you and I'm proud of you, son, because that's not his way. That's not who he is.
Right.
And I accept that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's great.
Now, I just know to do it differently. That's all, you know. And you know, parenting, you know, it's the easiest thing to fuck up. We don't get a book. We don't get a manual of what to do, you know, because guess what? As much as my wife and I have probably broken curses and we've done things, our relationship alone is an anomaly.
Right.
We done made some mistakes.
Man.
So I'm sure our kids is looking at us like, yeah, y'all didn't do what they did, but y'all did some shit. We ain't gonna never do that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a perpetual thing.
It is, man. It is, man.
is,
And you know, I think sometimes, man, I love what you said earlier, man. Like, what'd you say? Like, love your people or be patient with your people.
Yeah.
I mean, man, that's such an important message, man. But it's a message very few people understand, man.
Right.
It really is, because I mean, listen, it took me a long time to understand my dad, and it really wasn't until I became a dad.
Yes.
Then I was like, shit.
Yeah.
He was right.
Yeah.
You know?
And we always said that.
Man, I'm telling you, man. And, you know, my dad, my father, both of our fathers passed away years ago.
Okay. Sorry to hear that. Condolences.
But thank you, man. But, you know, it's one of those things where you get into that moment, right? And then all of a sudden you start feeling like, damn, now I know exactly how they feel.
Yeah.
Now I feel you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I used to say that all the time, man. You know, like, the same deal. You know, my pops, man, he was always kind of rough on me. And I was the youngest one of 9, right? And I always been like, man, my mom would say, Mijo, you're just like your dad. That's why.
Yeah.
Just like him. And every which way, short fuse, everything. You guys just bump heads. But once I got older, became a man and see my dad, you know, he started getting older in age and all that shit just came back. I was like, man, he was so right with so much shit.
Yeah.
And I say, man, oh, bro, come on.
Yeah, you know, I like I said, I give my dad grace, and you know, he has 8 kids by 7 different women. You know, none of us grew up together. You know, I still have siblings I haven't met. You know, and as I didn't meet some of them until I was grown, but none of us grew up together. You know, a lot of them feel differently than I feel, and I understand people are different. You know, some people need that and yearn that, and I understand that, right? But I just, like you said, grace, man. I think, you know, as I always say, you live life long enough, it teach you how to live. You have to learn how to forgive. You know, I don't feel like I had to forgive him because I didn't have nothing, but. You know, if I did, and I have in life, right? You know, you have to forgive. That's for you. Yeah. You know, you can't carry that because, you know, that's baggage, and then you'll end up perpetuating, you know, so many bitter things toward your family unintentionally, you know, because they did that. Yeah. See, and that's where we had to break the curse. They did it. They had fucked up relationships with their, you know, their upbringing, and they brought it into us. So at some point, somebody got to do something different.
That's right, man. And you know, I will tell you, man, one of the hardest things, man, and this is something that I think a lot of people relate to, that how we grew up, is there's always that 1-2 couple people in the family, right, that is like, damn, that's the drug addict. Damn,
of course.
That's the person who is trying to hustle everybody in the family. That's the person, whatever, right? Yeah. That just don't want to grow up. No. And at some point, you just got to, I feel. Yeah. Maybe not you, but I feel, man, you just got to be like, we ain't doing this no more, and separate yourself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's me, because it does become just a cycle, a vicious cycle that my kids will see, and then their kids, and then, you know, and just it keeps going and going and going, right? So, you know, I think sometimes, man, somebody in the family has to make that hard decision to say, that's enough.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I grew up in a household, for all intents and purposes, with, you know, functioning alcoholics. You know, my mother indulged in just the 80s, right? So I grew up in the early 80s finding the Coke tray under the couch, you know what I'm saying? And I'm playing in the residue. But they doing this in the name of kicking it. It's the weekend. They done worked all week, and they kicking it on the weekend, right? But with that being said, that's probably a big reason why I never drank, I never smoked, I never did drugs. Okay. I've never done any of that. Yeah. And I think a large part of that is because I was exposed to it at such an early age. And I just didn't like it. Yeah. You know, I didn't like to see my people inebriated.
Well, it opened your eyes to that. Yeah. And you see where it could lead.
It just put such a negative taste in my mouth, you know. And mind you, let me reiterate, you know, my people were great. You know, so even a little tipsy and a little drunk, my people love me to the moon. You know what I mean? I just didn't like it. You know what I mean? So, you know,
and that could have been just flip of a coin too. Yeah, you know, because that's what happens. Bro. That's what happens with a lot
I could have went the
people.
other way. I could have saw that demonstrated, and you know, and some of that shit's genetic. Them addictive personalities, and I could have caught on to that. And again, I don't want to act like I've just done everything right and it's perfection. Right. That's not what we're talking about. But, you know, I've broken some curses, you know, and hopefully my kids will break even more, you know, with different opportunities and different exposures. I love it.
Hey, man, appreciate that, man. You asked us a question before we got on here, and we won't rehash it, but you said, man, what's your goal, man? And I was like, shit, we did something wrong. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But we gotta ask you that, man. For you, for your content, for the pod, obviously, man, your brand. You know what I'm saying? What is your goal, man? What's your ultimate goal for your podcast, man?
So my ultimate goal, which by God's grace, man, I have some great things. You know, God has really smiled on me. It's been rough, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But my goal initially was to, at some point, scale the Holdin Court podcast to a full-out TV show.
Okay.
Right. Which I'm going to do. So now that I've been in this media space, I've learned a lot. You know, I've gained some social currency and some clout.
Sure. No doubt.
So what I did was I partnered with Ice-T. We have a new network, TV network called OG Network that we're launching this fall. So it's a fast channel OTT platform, you know, for those over the top. Fast channel is like Pluto, Tubi, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll have our own channel with, you know, we got over 1,000 titles, and we have our own tentpole shows.
Okay.
One of the shows that we have is a show with Lazy Bone and I called Somebody Had to Say It.
Okay.
We got a couple shows with Ice-T as well.
Oh, nice.
So now what I can do is I can now make the Holdin Court podcast a TV show and put it on my network. So the reason that I wanted to do that is because, you know, we don't own our culture. We rarely own any infrastructure. You know, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of that is rented real estate. You know, we're at the mercy of their algorithm. You know, at all our followers and all of that, they can take that away like that. Right. You know, we have no data, no back end data. Don't get me wrong, they're useful tools.
Right.
But I wanted to own some infrastructure and own our data. You know, and then I also I wanted to give opportunities to other producers and up and coming directors and content creators, because with Tubi, you know, they kind of moved the goalpost. Yeah. Once Fox acquired them, it's almost like gentrification of content.
Okay.
You know, so, you know, when they gentrify the hood, they come buy it cheap and then bring the value to it. Well, it was the same thing with Tubi. Okay. It's like they used all the hood stuff to build up, you know, and make it viable, sold it for a bunch of money. Now they move the goalposts and they're not able to get on anymore.
Okay.
So you have a lot of displaced content creators and directors. So me and Ice, we wanted to provide a space for people to come over there and do that and have some control. Because, you know, I've been in Hollywood over 20 years, so I understand the bureaucracy that goes and how hard it is to get shows greenlit and get stories told. So in essence, I'm kind of taking it a step further than I'm not going to say further. Kind of like how Tyler Perry did, where you kind of become autonomous. Okay. So now we don't have to beg studios to greenlight projects.
Yeah.
No, we fund them ourselves, and we have the outlet for them as well. Okay. You know, so and my daughter's a partner in that as well. My daughter Rachel Renee, who's a tech founder. So she has a all-in-one e-commerce marketplace called Goat Move. So it'll be integrated with her platform, like how Amazon is. So how you have Amazon, but then you have Amazon, the content, the app,
for sure.
Amazon Prime. So our OG network would be the Amazon Prime of that. So, you know, I brought it to Ice-T, and he was super excited. So, and you know, he really was ready, because 50's doing the same thing. You know what I mean, with 50 Action. He partnered with Lionsgate, but me and Ice-T partnered. So think about what we going up against together.
That's like a full circle for you, bro.
Man.
It is. Ain't that you caught that?
I caught that, bro.
You caught that. So
it's a full circle. First hip hop album he bought. Ice-T.
This is why I tell people, man, it's we attract what we think about. And I told Ice this. I said, Ice, what's crazy is, I said, you're the first rap record I ever wrote, and I was a huge Ice-T fan. And when I saw High Rollers, that kind of got me street poison. I remember thinking, I want a house like that. I want a girl like that. I want a gun like that. I was 12, right? So when I got my first big house in Woodland Hills, you know, a couple $1 million, I got an elevator in the house and everything. I had 5x5 oil paintings of Power, the front and the back, in my living room.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that whole thing started from there.
Wow.
And so for full circle, for us to be, you know, great friends and be in business together, you know, And this is why when you see me do this, and I'm letting people know from the city, like the kids, the youngsters, anybody, man, you can do it, dog. It all starts here. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I see for the future, man. OG Network. And that's me doing my big one, bro.
How can they get that OG network? How's that available?
Yeah, it'll be available on Roku. It'll be available on Amazon, Pluto.
Okay.
All the platforms.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to go to the App Store, download it, and
Download
you'll be
on
able to
TV,
go to
get it right there.
Yeah,
on the apps.
and you'll be able to go to like Pluto and you'll see the linear channel.
And
fast
when is
channel.
that going to come out?
This fall.
Okay.
Yep,
Here we
this
go,
fall,
man.
And we'll have a whole launch. I mean, you'll see us on
Yeah,
Breakfast
bro.
Club and all of that.
For
Yeah,
sure.
man.
Yeah.
That's
So I'm
dope.
trying to bear with me, man, because
Yes.
I'm a little slow.
No,
so
for sure.
How does the podcast become a TV show?
So it's basically the production part of it.
Okay.
Right. So how I want to scale the TV show, like right now, it's just interview conversation.
Okay.
But I want to be able to have a live audience. I
Yeah,
want to bring an
that's
audience,
Gotcha.
and I want to be able to have a performance section.
Yeah.
So like if I have an artist come on, they got a new single, just like Arsenio. Shout
You
out to
just asked. I
Arsenio.
was about to say that,
Just
man.
like
You just
Arsenio.
said about Arsenio.
Just like
man.
Arsenio. So that's how I want to scale it. In the set, I want to have a set the whole nine. And
That's
Rachel
dope,
Renee,
man.
I'm producing a show for her too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
That's dope.
congrats, man.
Thank you,
Yeah,
brother. Thank
congrats,
you. Thank
man.
you. And the other side of this, now as we pull it into Kansas City, I had a show called 12 that I developed with Jasmine Lewis and the actress Jasmine Lewis. And so I was this close to getting it greenlit with All Black, right? And they were going to greenlight it for $750,000 an episode, right? For 8 episodes.
Okay.
So it's almost $5 million, for a season.
For sure.
It's based in Kansas City. So that was my thing, is I wanted to bring and shed light on Kansas. So like if you think about The Wire, before The Wire, I didn't know anything about Baltimore. I didn't much care. But The
Right.
Wire was so dope. And
Man.
the Baltimore was like, the backdrop of it was like a character within itself.
Yes.
To the lingo, to just their culture. So I want to do that with Kansas City, but I can only do that if I'm in a position of power.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So that's woven in there too. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, once I have the infrastructure and I have the power, now I can start green lighting projects. I can start bringing stuff to Kansas City. And plus, Missouri has great tax incentives and tax credits for film as well.
yeah.
So, there's a big plan
Yeah.
that I
Man,
have.
I think it's great, man. I mean, congratulations
Absolutely.
on you for that,
Thank you,
man.
brother.
To have a local artist, man. What you're doing to bring this
Thank you,
city
brother.
expansion, man,
Yeah.
going on, man.
I'm just trying to do my part.
That's dope. You brought up a little bit about your show. All right, we didn't even really talk too much about your acting deal.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You getting down in some acting too, brother.
Yeah,
right?
man. Yeah.
What's the last one you doing, or what you working on now? You got something in the lab?
Yeah. So I had, of course, I had the romantic drama, A Little Piece of Heaven. It went number 1 on All Black and Tubi. People are still seeing that movie. I've been noticed a few times. I got noticed a few times from the movie in New Orleans, as a matter of fact.
Is that right?
So it's co-starring Travis Cure from The Oval. He does a lot of stuff with Tyler Perry and
Okay.
Jasmine Lewis,
Yeah,
veteran
yeah.
actress. And so we co-starred it together. Then I just did another series called The Client, where I'm on my training day shit. I'm on my Denzel Crooked Cop shit.
Yeah.
So it's called
King
The Client.
Kong ain't got nothing on me.
Hey, I'm on my. So that
Is that on Tubi too?
it's coming out on Peacock.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's coming out on Peacock. So I shot that in Atlanta.
Okay.
And then we're going into pre-production for the OG network. We have a series called Thirst Trap, which me and Rachel Renee, we wrote it. And we'll go into production. It's a vampire flick.
Yeah.
So it's about she's a vampire that's an influencer.
Yeah,
She's a
yeah.
famous influencer, but that's
there
how
we
she
go.
gets her
Hey.
victims.
Yeah.
Thirst Trap. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we got that
That's
series
dope,
that we go into pre-production. We go into pre-production in September.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my next thing. That's my thing. You know what I mean? So
That's dope, man.
So listen, man. You working in
You
LA?
busy,
You working
man. You
everywhere,
busy,
man.
bro.
Man.
If you ever
Yeah.
go somewhere, and they're like, man, we need a Mexican or two.
Man,
Yeah.
we need a couple fill-ins
Man,
or something.
please don't do the
Holla at
same
your
ones
boy,
that have been in
man.
every freaking movie. There's my
Nah,
whole life, bro.
nah.
There's 2 right here, man.
Holla at your boy,
we
man.
a DM
Holla at your
away,
boy,
man.
man.
Like,
And
hey, yo, man, I could
this-
use.
And I love this though because man, black and brown. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
let's
And this
go.
is the
Yeah,
first
come on.
brown. I love it. That's why I had to come. I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, man, I gotta fuck with my brown brothers.
Let's
you
go,
know what I mean?
What's
man.
up,
Let's
man?
go.
You know the deal.
But this is what I want to do. This is what I'm saying. You got to be in the power seat. So now now when I bring this to Kansas City, we're able to do that. We're able to find a way.
Hey, we
to
know
put,
people, bro.
You know what I mean. We might find a way where, somehow or another the brand is in the movie or in the series. You know what I'm saying? Might have a vampire come in here, get interviewed, and suck y'all's blood. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I don't even care if it's like I'm running into the wrong field. You know what I'm saying? And I disappear for the rest of the movie, bro.
Or you know what would be even better is if we see these murders happening, these strange murders, and y'all podcasting about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, come on, the wheels are turning, bro.
It's them wheels, man. It's them wheels going.
And that's one thing that I do, brother, is I share.
Yeah.
I share, man. And this is a message I want to give to Kansas City too. The worst concept that I think happened to Kansas City was the term Jeffin. Mm-hmm. It's divisive. It keeps everybody on an island, and with that, you can't share information. You can't share resource. Right. Listen, we have to learn how to build bridges. We have to learn how to communicate. Yeah. We have to, not ego.
Man,
you know what I mean? And get rid of ego. Because you would be surprised. Like the more that you kind of connect with people, the bigger you can become as well. Like for instance, the crew that I had that came, that did my Atlanta run, right? They're from Kansas City. Mm-hmm. The film crew that I use is from Kansas City.
Yeah.
So they're my guys, right? They're loyal. They're good.
Yeah.
So Willie D from the Ghetto Boys is a friend of mine.
Hey. Mm-hmm.
So he calls me and says, "Hey," he said, "Man, who does your camera stuff? I'm not a hater. That's why I want you to work with me, because if I can give you the keys to a door, I will. Yeah. I know a lot of people. Whatever resource I can give you, I will."
Bro, right.
So now they get to work with Willie D. And so with that, other opportunities will come. And they're doing stuff with him. I said, "Well, Will, who's your first interview?" He said, "Rick Ross." Hey. So now they get to be a part of that, and I'm not babysitting or anything. Yeah. But I was like that in the game. Yeah. If I really rocked with you, I take you to my plug. Here, meet him, treat him like you treat me.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna middleman you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Hey,
so
there's that saying, man. Hey, don't eat with somebody you want to starve with, man.
That's right. So I share. I want people to have the information, and a lot of times in Kansas City, I think sometimes. Just a small sector, not everybody. I'm not speaking in absolutes, but there could be a spirit of entitlement, and people really don't understand what help looks like. It's not always monetary. Sometimes it's just someone giving you a piece of information for you to run with and
making
apply,
a connection,
right? Mm-hmm. So it's not always cash me out, give me some money. Like that doesn't work, because to be honest with you, you got a lot of people that if you give them $1 million now, they'll be broke in 6 months. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And they'll be asking for another.
And they'll be asking for another million. So people got to understand, you got to first become that person. You got to do it up here to become that person to get that $1 million. But then there's the other trick. When you get it, you got to become another person to be able to maintain it. Mm-hmm. That's the other trick, So, I just want to give that to Kansas City that, hey, we got the talent, we have it, but just be open-minded, be willing to put in the work and be willing to build, and get all the ego and the nonsense, man. Do away with that.
Man, that's hard for some people, man.
And then the killing part about it is it be the people that really don't have no motion. It's like, what are we doing? Who's going to be the tall? It's like a competition of who's the tallest midget. Yeah. It's like, you know what I'm saying? If we not, because think about it. If you talk about, podcast wars or rap war, like in Atlanta, they have different type of dick swinging contests, pause. Yeah. It's, oh man, he bought that. He only paid $8 for his mansion. I paid $15 for mine, man. He driving that old Rolls Royce. There's a different type of flex and competition opposed to, what nobody heard of any of you. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And what are you arguing about? Like, what's the economics? Like, what, who's got some big deals and some big contracts? What are we talking about?
Yeah, or what else you doing?
There's nothing to talk about or argue about. We're still all trying to get out and make it out. What are we arguing for?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I and this is how I always thought, but this is why I knew I had to leave too. Yeah. I knew I had to leave. I was like, no, my mentality had outgrown just the city, respectfully.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I was like, no, I got to get around that energy and people that understand a bigger picture, you know. But
well, that explains, because I was going to ask you that too, man. I thought about that. You know, I was like, you know, the reason why, you know, what would be the reason why successful actors or artists do that? And that, what you're just saying.
Yeah. Well, you have to go to where the game is being played, and the mentality is different. I can be very honest with you, and I love the city. See, I always looked at myself almost like a runaway slave. Like I got to freedom, then I come back and say, listen, if we go over here, all you got to do is do this. I'm telling you what they doing, and they don't want to listen. Like Harriet Tubman said, she could have freed more people if they had just understood that they were slaves. They didn't know no better, right? So.
But the great thing that you know, to cut you off, I'm sorry, man. But the great thing also that you're doing now, like you said, you know, you're building.
Yes.
And now you want to bring it back, and like you got your crew that come out, bro.
Always, man. Like, listen, I you know, Sully 4Q did my theme song. You know, he's from here. The guy that does my thumbnails is a graphic guy from here. You know what I mean?
I think Glenn told us that.
Yeah. If you want to be honest, like most of my infrastructure for my podcast is right here. You know, I just don't film it here. You know what I'm saying? But because I live somewhere else. But I just want us to really it starts mentally, man, and we have the potential. There's so much talent here, but we just got to think outside this joint, you know. And social media. And I always tell people this, man, look at the greats. You know, that's what I learned to do, right? I looked at, even with my podcast, I looked at platforms that I aspired to be like or compete with in a good way and said, okay, what are they doing? What are they doing? You know, in terms of application, you know, what's working? Why is it not working? And learn, you know what I'm saying? So I'm good at doing that. I study those, like even with doing the Fast Channel with Ice. You know, I study Lemuel Plummer that owns Zeus. You know, I study Byron Allen, who owns so many networks. He's a billionaire. People think he's corny and all of that. Man, that dude low key a boss. You know, of course, I've been around P for 30 years. So I've studied him closely, just in terms of how movement and how to deal with these systems and processes and different things like that, and how to get in the market. So study those people that you aspire to be like. And if you don't see them doing it, you know, you take what they're doing and make it your own. That's what you do.
Do you think, man, I got to ask you this.
Yes.
Do you think, you know, when I look up, and this has been a while, but when I looked up, you know, top 10 podcasts in the nation. Maybe even the world, I don't even know. It wasn't one minority. Right. It was mostly all just Caucasian people. I mean, you got Joe Rogan, you got, you know, those folks, right? Some females out there. But a lot of their stuff, man, is, you know, I'll just put it this way, man. They got enough money to speak freely. And get into conversations freely. You know, whereas, you know, we ain't there yet, you know, and you may be, you know, I don't know, you can talk about that, but I mean, what do you think about that, man, when you look at that, when you look at those top 10, top 5 podcasts and the people that the attraction there is very controversy sells, man, you know, for sure. So I just feel like when I see those things, man, it's like, this can go, man. Like, I feel like we could do something, but there's only going to be so limited because people they go to positivity, but then they really want that.
No, that's true. I think it depends, man. I think so. To answer the first part of the question, if you think about, I think, like you said, Caucasians, they're the majority, right? So if you think about Friends was successful because it was targeted to the minority, which is, you know, middle white America, right? So that makes sense why the numbers are there, you know, and they're white, right? People are going to appeal to, you know, and relate to who they look like in their experiences. So that makes sense. On top of the fact they have the machine behind them.
Right.
So now if you bring it to our world, right, that world doesn't apply to us.
Right.
Right. So we have to bring it to our top 5 of our culture, the urban culture. Right. So when you look at probably, you know, Nori and Shannon Sharp and $1 Million Worth of Game, you know, the only difference between them is So I tell people this all the time, and I have to remind myself of this. How long y'all been doing this?
Year and a half.
Okay, year and a half. I've been doing it 4.5 years. A lot of those guys, with the exception of Shannon Sharp, they got 10 plus years in the game. So we can't compare our year and a half, 4.5 years to their 10.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then they have, and if you think about it, as we're talking about these top urban podcasts, these people were already somebody. They already had social currency coming in. You know, that's why a lot of the times, you know, people, you know, will give me props because, you know, I was really honored and flattered. Here recently, Noriega made a statement saying that the only podcasts that matter are Drink Champs and I think $1 Million Worth of Game is what he said.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have to say nothing. It was people in the comments tagging me, you know, along with others, right? Mm-hmm. But that let me know, oh, okay, I'm getting close. I'm getting close, you know. And, you know, I have, and y'all probably saw me post on Facebook, you know, Joe Budden, actually, they just reacted to my Damian Hall thing, played it on the show and talked about it.
Okay.
Shannon Sharp referenced one of my interviews, you know what I mean? The Breakfast Club have talked about me and name checked me.
Okay.
Nice.
So I think I always tell people, find your people. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Find your people and then super serve your niche.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, one thing I think about too, man, and me and JL talked about this a couple times, man, just sometimes it feels like our people aren't right there with us. So sometimes, right? Like they wait for you to you know, you climbing up a little bit, man, and they want to not have your back.
Well, I'll say it flat out. I mean, I ain't ashamed.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, man, we started off this journey with like, I don't know, the first 10, 12 guests were all Hispanic.
Okay.
Because, right, you go right to the people you know,
exactly.
Right? Your friends list, your
For
contacts. Sure. And shout out to all of them, man. Love them all.
Yeah.
And now lately, we're climbing, we're growing, and now it's like we're trying to get people, Hispanics that are actually like for real, like not that those people weren't, because a lot of them are, but out here doing something. You out here doing something.
That's right.
You know, like
That's
come
right.
talk to us.
That's right.
Come talk to us.
That's right.
Hardest people to get, man. I don't know if that's where you were going, D-Rod.
That and then just, you know, shit, we could talk about this, bro.
Yeah.
But this the thing,
man.
bro. But I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to be honest, man. My brown brothers, y'all about to be the minority here in a minute.
Yeah.
Y'all got a lot of people to relate to. So I would be, man, listen, the Mexicans, I be catering to them. Like, y'all got it.
Y'all got it.
Y'all got it.
Yeah.
So, but you know what I would tell you guys? Again, you might not want to hear it, and it's hard. You got to reach outside this motherfucker. You got to go outside of here.
Yeah.
You know, because the thing is, if you keep the conversation just KC and you keep just KC people, it's going to stay KC.
Yeah.
Right? You're already going to get this as you grow. You know what I mean? Because people are attracted to energy.
Yeah.
People are attracted to motion.
Yeah.
You know, so you get Danny Trejo up in this bitch, which you could get if you package it right.
Yeah.
They going to come then.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be like, you know, you use that.
Yeah.
Shit, we had Danny Trejo, we had such and such. Man, you get the Brown brothers that's moving, that's doing things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them too.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, bro. You be surprised at who will say yes. You know what I mean? But it's all in presentation.
Yeah.
Because I ain't going to lie. I'd have had some people that I was shocked
For real.
that they said yes.
Who? Like name drop.
Tiffany Haddish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was shocked just because, you know, I mean, she's Hollywood, right? You know, and I know she can be some kind of way. You know what I mean? But that's one, right? But and it's been a few others that'll be. I just was talking to Ryan Clark
For sure.
from Pivot. I was just talking to him, and he was like, "Man, I love to do your show."
Yeah.
You know, so you see what I'm saying? Even with Tank, you know, me and Tank go to the same gym. He came up to me one day, was like, "You." I see you.
Yeah.
I see you. Yeah. And I was like, bro, you'll come on the show? He said, hell yeah. He said, bro, I love what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So it's all in presentation.
Yeah.
It's all in. So I think you guys get, you know, some
Okay.
you know, some
Shit, I mean, for real, I've been surprised with some of the guests that we had already, man. And it's just some local people, man.
Yeah,
you know
for
what
sure.
I'm saying, bro?
For sure.
I mean, for real. I mean, you know how it is, man. Like I told you earlier, Court, man. You know, we trying to make Kansas City buy into this first.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, man. I wish I had.
Good luck.
I wish I had the cell phone list you had, man.
Good luck, bro.
Because I'd be in it. Dude.
It's just a couple guys, man, that,
But think about it, though. You guys are mobile, right?
Now, don't get me wrong, bro, and I'm gonna say this so people can hear it, bro. I've reached out to Mexican OT's team, like, hey, yo, let us get 30 minutes with them.
Yeah.
Paul Wall came up in here, man.
We got told,
everybody, bro.
Yeah, we reached out, man. We DM.
Did Paul Wall come?
No.
Okay.
No,
Stay on it.
like, bro, we do though, man. We DM just like with you, yo, man, come check us out, you know. And shout out to you, man, for responding and being here with us today, man.
Absolutely.
Love you for that.
Yeah.
Because I do think people will see you with us and they'll be like, okay.
Hope so.
Yeah.
So you want me to tell you what I do? And I'll put y'all. I'll give a little. I'll just let the cat out the bag. People don't understand. I've done a lot of platforms, and every time I come back here, I do what I can, right? Mm-hmm. Because you know why? By God's grace, I have a little social currency, but I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like me giving gifts to people. They don't know I've given them yet, because as I grow. And you have my name attached to you, and the way that the social media works, it takes you with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I hit that pinnacle and y'all see me like, oh, Court's on this Tyler Perry shit, him and Ice-T, y'all run this shit and ride that wave.
Let's go.
You see what I'm saying? And it gets eyeballs on you, and you make your money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then when I become that guy, you're able to say, he came and sat down with us. So now you're able to use me. We had Big Court. And they're like, the dude that owned the network? Oh, yeah, we'll come to your show.
Yeah.
But see, I'm forward thinking.
Yeah.
See, right now, people just think, okay, he's cool. He came and sat. But no, I'm already giving gifts before people know.
Appreciate you for that. It's like the saying, man, it's not how far you went, it's who you took with you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
so,
a fact.
Love you for that,
and I'm
man.
trying to take the whole city as much, but it may be a little unorthodox because they can't see it. But see, this is the difference between difference between sight and vision. Everybody has sight, but vision is being able to see and hit targets that everyone can't see.
Yeah.
So it's having that vision. Like, okay, they'll get it. When I hit that, and then everybody's shit start going up, and they're able to leverage having me. Use me. I had someone else hit me and say, hey, they're here, a platform here. They say, man, full transparency, I don't have a budget, brother. Budget? I don't charge anyone from Kansas City anything.
Yeah.
I never would.
Yeah.
I could be a billionaire tomorrow and the number one, whatever the fuck. We're not now. I might, anybody outside the city, it is what it is, right? Unless we got a relationship. Kansas City? No, bro. I'll pull up on you. Where you at?
Yeah.
You can have one cell phone in an apartment. Bro, I see what you're trying to do. I got you. Run with that if that's all I can do for you.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's dope. By the way, we are here at Classic Blends. Shout out our boy Will Harris. Should have said that from the get, man. Apologize, Will. So thank you for the space, man.
For sure.
Man, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me,
Appreciate you,
brothers.
Court, man.
Yeah.
Couple fun questions before we let you go, man.
Yes, sir.
Tell everybody you're from KC without telling them you're from KC.
Let me see. So many things. I'm trying to think of a good one, though. Let me see. Gates over Arthur Bryant's.
Gates over Arthur Bryant's.
Yeah,
I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel that.
yeah.
Two OGs, too.
Yeah.
All right, I got one. Musically inclined, okay? Mm-hmm. If there's a song that you feel best represents your life so far, what is that, man?
Damn. Wow. I've never been asked that. I don't even know if I had the time to think about it because I know so many songs.
There's got to be one.
You say that represents my life.
Yeah, so far.
You talking about the whole story or where I am right now?
Brother, whatever. It could be from the past. It could be the present. It could be the future, man.
Damn. You know what? It would probably be a gospel song. Yeah.
What is it?
Probably Smokey Norfolk.
Okay.
I think it's called I Thank You. Yeah.
Thank You by
Smokey Norfolk.
Smoky Norfolk.
That's what I love about Zero, by the way. That dude has turned gospel songs into rap songs.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
The Life of Joseph McVeigh.
Yeah.
Classic album.
Yeah, Zero is such an interesting character, but super cool.
Man.
It took him about 45 minutes to warm up. And I warned my daughter. I said, listen, he different. Okay, that's just how he act.
Yeah.
So it ain't that he don't want to be here.
Yeah.
That's Ro being Ro. You know.
For sure, man. Who is a guest you're trying to get on your podcast, or maybe even your show?
Yeah.
Who are you trying to get? Like, big name person you really trying to get?
Man, I could tell you that right off the top. Luckily, I've had most of my bucket list.
Okay.
But Magic Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Barack Obama. And that would probably be the Mike Tyson.
Hey.
Ooh,
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Yeah. That'd be dope. Okay, I got another one. Acting.
Okay.
All right. Has there been an audition that you tried out for that you wish you would have gotten?
Shit, I wish I got all them motherfuckers, but I can tell you this though.
The main one or something?
I can tell you this. So y'all watching BMF?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Pusher, Jay Pusher. I auditioned for that twice.
Did you?
Okay.
Yeah, but sometime when I see that, I audition for Snowfall too.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So the funny thing about it is, it's funny when you know the lines and you know the scene because you audition for it.
Yeah.
But then when they make a good choice, you like, okay, I see that. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Which character in Snowfall?
It was the pimp. The one at the end when he was like, "Oh, you a loquacious bitch."
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So, but I played it different. I played because when you think about the '80s, right, and the backstory on it was he was from Pomona. So the character that they used, the actor, he played it kind of like Cat Williams.
Yeah.
I played it more like a gangster pimp.
Gangster.
You know what I'm saying? Because in the '80s, you know, they was different. You know, they was selling dope, but they was still more kind of masculine. So.
Yeah, that's what So that just segues me into how do you prepare, bro? You know, for say for whichever one of those. I mean, what's your preparation like when you go into a role like that?
So normally what I do is I call my acting coach, who's Larry B. Scott. If you remember, he's an actor. He played Lamar on Revenge of the Nerds, the black dude with the flimsy javelin. So he's been an acting coach in Hollywood for years. He actually works with Method Man as well. He got Method Man right for Power. I first figure out what the backstory of the character is, and what they want. You have to figure out the choices, because that's going to help you make the choices. What are they trying to do? What are they trying to get? And then the background will help you determine how they will say things, what their sensibilities are. You know what I mean? So because a lot of people, when you first start out, they get thrown off by the dialogue. The dialogue is just a frame of work.
Right.
It's just a framework, of what's going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the biggest thing about acting is listening. It's letting the actor affect you, and it's just having being in the moment.
Right.
So that's kind of what they call the Meisner technique. Where you have people that do that whole, what do they call it, where they stay in character on and off camera method. Right. I don't do that. Yeah. So I think I'm more like what Meisner. And Meisner is basically where you catalog your emotions.
Gotcha.
So I kind of know what triggers to go to. Like in A Little Piece of Heaven, I kind of had to cry. And so what happened was, it's only one thing that's going to make me cry. And everybody see when I think about my mom, right? So preparing for that, even though that scene had nothing to do with that, but that was what was going to get it going.
Right. For sure.
And the crazy thing about it is, I used it and I did it, but it was hard to stop it.
Right.
And I remember the guy next to me who played my lawyer. He kind of patted me on the back, and he was like, "Damn, bro," he said, "I know where you went to get that." You know what I mean? And I had to pull myself together. You know what I mean? So it's cataloging those emotions. You know,
that's skill. That's dope,
man. That's dope.
That's skill.
Yeah, that's the same thing. 50 does it too. You know, 50. It's funny. He said the same thing, because I think he was on Howard Stern and he cried on cue.
Yeah.
And what it was, he thought about his grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how that works?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Listen, Court, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, brother.
your time, man. Thank you so much, man, for spending this last couple hours with us, man, in conversation. Congratulations to you, man,
Thank you.
for making out the 435 walls. I always tell people, man, I've been trapped in the 435 walls my whole life, man. You know, but hey, man, to your point, man, we do get people watching this in California, Texas, Arizona.
Dope.
So you know, that's you see that, right?
Yes,
in the whatever the information, but. Keep doing you, man. Keep being you, man.
OG, man. Shout out to that OG network.
Yeah,
man.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
Good luck, man, on everything you do, man. Is there anything before we let you go you want to share, express, say to people, man, before we wrap this up?
Man, I would just tell people, man, put God first. You know, follow your passion. Be a purpose chaser, not a paper chaser. You know, because chasing the money, you know, it's like a shadow. You're never gonna catch it. You know, so when you do things with a purpose and do things that you love, the money will just creep up on you. So, I say follow your passion, man.
Let's go.
I love it, man.
With that, man, Enterrupt KC, JL.
D-Rod, man.
Like, follow, share, subscribe, everybody. Thank you for watching. We are out of here.
Salute.
Peace.
Thank you. Bye.